Hey, yo, bro. What the hell are you doing? Man, I'm just sick of it. I've tried keto, fasting, and literally every other thing we've ever talked about, and I still can't lose a kilo of weight. I just feel like I'm getting fatter every day and I just suck. Whoa. Hold up there, Buster. Firstly, stop that self-hate. Okay, you don't suck, you're not fat. Secondly, you need to understand the 3 fundamentals of dieting to actually be able to lose weight. 3 fundamentals of dieting, he says. Tell me more. Well, see, Archie, there's 3 types of diets you can try to lose weight pretty quickly. And they all base on a fundamental rule. Calorie deficit. Ooh, calorie deficit. Yes, I've heard of that. Isn't that when you eat less than what you burn? Spot on, Archie. That's exactly what it is. But you got to keep in mind that you can do different kinds of diets to achieve the same goal of a calorie deficit. But you need to stay tuned till the end of the video, and I'm going to go over those 3 diets. Alrighty, starting up with number 1, we have a very well-known and common diet, keto. Now, keto is actually short for ketosis. Why do you need to know that? Well, because it's the whole purpose of the diet. This diet works on the act of ketosis. Now, what is ketosis, you might ask? Well, basically it's your body using fat for energy rather than carbohydrates. Why is this important? Well, because in order to do a keto diet, you are basically transferring all of your food from carbohydrate heavy foods to foods that are high in healthy fats and moderate amounts of protein with an emphasis on the healthy fats part. The best part about the keto diet is it's actually really easy to implement. Just literally cut out most of the carbs, aim for 20 to 50 grams a day tops, and then replace that with protein and heavy fat foods. Keep in mind, healthy heavy fats. What I mean by that could be fish, eggs, avocado is great, nuts. These all have high levels of healthy fats, and you just implement a lot of those into your diet paired with some protein. Keep it around 10 to 20% of the whole caloric intake for the day, and try to eliminate the carbs as much as possible. Now, unfortunately, the cons to the keto diet is it can be difficult to maintain long term. That is the state of ketosis, not the diet itself. You're also unfortunately limited to a select range of foods rather than having a whole menu to pick out of, like you're probably used to. So overall, I think keto is pretty good. Personally, it's not my own personal pick of how I lost my 20 kilos. I actually use the next point on our list, which is fasting. What is fasting? Well, unless you've been living under a rock, you should probably know what it is, but I'll break it down. Basically, it's not eating anything and only consuming fluids, such as water, maybe coffee, over a 16 to 24 hour period. Sometimes you can go longer, but that's not what I do personally, and I don't really recommend going longer than 24 hours. Now, what are some of the pros to fasting? Firstly, it can increase your lifespan according to some studies. Secondly, it can help suppress appetite over a long term. Thirdly, it can also help your body get into a state of autophagy, which is elimination of free radicals in the body, which can improve brain health, response to inflammation, so on and so forth. However, unfortunately, fasting has some big cons to it. Firstly, it's very difficult to maintain long term. And then one of the other biggest cons is a massive potential to overeat on non-fasting days. So normally what my fasting looked like would be like a cycle of 6 days, and on the 7th day, I would just eat however I wanted to. But you can overdo it. You can go crazy on the 7th day and basically just undo everything you've done for that week. Now, to wrap up on fasting, I personally think it's a favorite of mine. I think it's a diet that everyone should try at one point in their life. I found that my skin improved as well during the autophagy stage that comes from fasting, including my mental clarity. That definitely improved. And I just overall think it's a very beneficial diet that everyone should try. Now, make sure to stay tuned for the 3rd point that's coming up, because it's a very controversial diet, but I personally love it, and I think it's a very primal sort of diet, so stay tuned. Alright, I'm glad you're with me so far. The carnivore diet. Now, this is a diet that I think has sort of only recently come into the eyes of most people. What is it? It's basically just eating meat only and poultry. So chicken, fish, red meat, That's basically all. The benefits of the carnivore diet, you can almost completely and utterly eliminate muscle loss. Take that with a grain of salt because it's not a be all end all, but with exercise, you can eliminate muscle loss almost entirely. Because if you're constantly feeding yourself meat only products, which are high in protein, go to the gym, do your workout. When you come home and you eat more meat, your muscles are just in a constant state of recovery. However, if you're just eating and you're not doing any exercise, obviously it's not gonna be the same. It's also important to pair it with good sleep, of course, because muscle recovery occurs during sleep. However, there are some drawbacks to this form of diet. Firstly, you will find that your vitamin C levels might drop. Also, not to mention fiber in your diet can dramatically plummet, but you can always counteract these with supplementing with fiber gummies, for example. It's personally something I take. And also there are some critics out there who have stated that they're not too sure about the long-term sustainability of a diet like this. In my opinion though, it's a great diet. One guy that I know who's done this for many years is, I can't remember his name, but it's Tristan something. I put a photo of him up here. This guy's done it for a very long time as far as I know, but I think the carnivore diet is definitely a go-to. Stick around because this final bonus point that I got is the foundational thing to all three of the diets we've spoke about. Now, moment you've all been waiting for, the calorie deficit. Do you find that no matter how many of these diets you've tried, you still can't lose weight on the scale? There's a very, very high chance that you're not taking into account the rules of a calorie deficit. Because foundationally, you can completely do no diet and only focus on calorie deficit and you will still lose weight. Now, how does it work and what is it? Basically, it's just putting in less than what your body burns. So if you burn 2,000 calories a day, eat 1,500. And then here you'll have a 500 deficit or difference between the two. Long story short, 3,500 calories is roughly about a kilo of fat off of the body. So now I'm guessing you're probably asking, how do I actually calculate how many calories I'm putting in, how much am I burning, so on and so forth. See, that's where BMR comes in, base metabolic rate. This is essentially the amount of calories you burn from sitting down, doing literally nothing besides blinking and breathing for a whole day. That is your base metabolic rate. Essentially, if your base metabolic rate is about 1,500, you will burn that no matter what during the day. So, quick recap. Essentially, if you put 1,500 calories a day in your body, and then you proceed to burn 1,000, whether that's including your BMR or through exercise, you will essentially be in a calorie deficit. Alright, now I know there's been a lot to take in so far, so just a quick recap. Basically, pick from any of the three diets, make sure you're in a calorie deficit, and if you have any other questions regarding BMR, caloric intake, so on and so forth, drop it down below. I'll leave it for the next video because it has been quite a lot to take in. And with that, my name's been Archie. See you guys next time.